What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge on a late Sunday night, as we're here to give you a college football recap of the weekend. The Sooners are now cracking the top 15 in the coaches poll and up to number 16 in the AP poll. Moving on up as the season progresses, exactly what you want to be doing. And there's been some interesting things happen in the world of college football this weekend. So let's get right to it. Starting in the Big 12, Jay, where a lot of the teams, I guess you could say, that have come into the Big 12 are the ones making some noise early, with BYU on the road at Arkansas getting that dub. You have UCF playing really well. Uh, so there's some of the new teams, new flavor into the conference, making some noise. And then some of those old, uh, old faithful teams like K-State losing to Missouri on the 62-yard field goal, which was insane. You have OSU just, I don't even know what that was. But so let's get after it in the Big 12 first.
Well, it's pretty obvious the Big 12 is pretty weak. I mean, let's just be honest with it ourselves. It's a weak conference this year. And you look at OU's schedule without playing some of the ones that are usually better in their conference, like Baylor, K State. And then, I mean, they don't play Texas Tech, who did take Oregon to the wire last week. So, but still, they didn't win the game. I mean, the conference hasn't had very many good wins. You take away Alabama, the win from Texas to Alabama. But what's kind of funny to me is uh, old Brett Yormark before the season talking about how, these Big 12 teams last year of OU Texas, right now, OU and Texas are carrying the Big 12, period, Brett. So carrying the league, they're going to carry it all year long. They're, if you're any Big 12 fan at all, it's going to be OU Texas in the Big 12 championship. I would be shocked right now if it's not OU Texas in the Big 12 championship. Would you not? I mean, watching some of these other teams, I mean, OSU. I've watched OSU for years. This is the worst team they've had in a long time. And Sam Mays, ex OSU player and NFL player, said last night they didn't have nearly as much talent as South Alabama. That's a problem.
That's a major problem. He hasn't, done well with transfer portal
No,
either, and NIL stuff and things like that. And the crowd was abysmal. It was awful. I saw some friends that were there. It was just a picture that I saw. It was a bad crowd. Yeah, OSU is not very good. There's really, like you said, Jay, the Big 12. And look, I've been the biggest Big 12 supporter the last however many years OU's been in it. I've always said Big 12, man, way better than media is giving them credit. This year, I can't say that. They're
they
bad.
don't have any big wins.
They're bad, and
BYU.
it's also why we probably saw that earlier, that stat on Twitter from you'll have to remind me of the guy, Jay, who had the ratings index, and basically OU's number one in that pick to win 12 games, and it's probably because the conference is so bad.
Well, you have them and Texas predicted to win 11, I think, on this thing. So, yeah, they basically think OU and Texas are going to run the table in the conference, except when they play each other, and they'll be playing each other twice. I mean,
Yeah. So let's.
and to me, right now on the Big 12, if you're looking at the Big 12 conference, you got OU, Texas as the top two teams, and then I would probably go with the next two. I would probably go like BYU and maybe UCF.
Agreed.
I mean, that would probably be my top four right now. Um, Iowa State. Matt Campbell went after a fan this weekend. The, did you see that?
It's not
Come
surprising.
on.
It's not surprising, Jay. That guy, uh,
Yeah.
he should have bolted to Michigan or wherever when he had the chance. I don't know why he's still in Ames, Iowa, but awful. What about the SEC? Because Georgia, to me, struggled. We picked that. We picked the South Carolina upset, Jay. Uh, they hung with them. They were with Georgia for a lot of that game. Georgia's not putting up massive numbers on offense. They have Bowers, the tight end, but really, Alabama struggled. LSU, I mean, LSU maybe is going to be a tough opponent for Georgia later in the year. but I don't think there's any chance the SEC's getting two teams in a playoff this year.
I mean, they're still they're still a really good conference. I just think Alabama's they don't have a quarterback that they can count on right now, and so that they're struggling. And Georgia, like you said, it's a new quarterback, and but Georgia the second half dominated South
They
Carolina.
did.
I mean, they were down
Tennessee, though.
14-3. They just said, yeah. So I think Georgia, and if you look at Georgia's schedule, I mean, it's pretty weak. So the chances of them probably being in the playoff again are pretty high. LSU, I don't think they're going to lose. I think LSU will lose again. Looking at the rest of the teams in that conference, I mean, Florida kind of took it to Tennessee, which was shocking to me. I thought Tennessee was really good, and they just didn't look good the other night. So you have that, and I just don't think it's I mean, if you want to talk conferences right now, that's the best conference right now on paper and on wins, it's Pac-12, and it's not very close. Now, do I think the Pac-12 is a great league? No. And we can get into the Colorado stuff, but I watched that game last night, and they're 3-0. You can't argue that they're 3-0, and people didn't think they would get it turned around that quick. I get it. But they're 3-0, and they haven't played anybody. So I would say hold your horses a little bit on that because they haven't played anybody, and Colorado State's not very good, and they went to overtime. The week before, it was Nebraska. First half, they struggled. So, I mean, I think Colorado, what Deion's done is amazing this quick. I'll give him props for that. But I'm kind of, and maybe this is just me being a maybe older, middle-aged guy, but the circus is kind of getting to me. That's just me personally.
I'm also an older, middle-aged guy, Jay, and I'm with you.
Obviously.
Even the players after the game, they're talking about the entertainment value, and Shedeur Sanders is talking about things like, and the other Sanders, Deion Jr., about, keep these games close to fans. We just keep them close. And I get it, but the entertainment has risen immensely. Anyone that's a Colorado fan, you're over there soaking it all in. I just don't know at what point does this kind of fade away. I think it could be Saturday. I think it could very well be Saturday in Oregon, Eugene, where Dan Lanning and company. Now, there's already some bulletin board material, and Deion's mopping that up, posting that everywhere.
He has every week.
And I'll give him kudos for that. But it's going to be land-based all over the media this week. We're going to hear about it. But Dan Lanning, I think, could fade that Colorado entertainment industry circus away pretty quickly this weekend.
Regardless, what they've done in 3 games to get the attention, to the fan support, it's been amazing for
they hired
that
Deion.
university.
That's what they did.
What's that?
They hired Deion. That's what they did.
Yeah, and he's moved the needle. That's for sure.
Shedeur Sanders is good,
and he's really good. But here's the deal: I do think this week it's going to be a wake-up call, and I think Oregon's going to mop them very handily. And if not, then Colorado's the real deal. That's what I think we're going to find out this week. And I think they go Oregon and USC maybe back to back. I'd have to look, but we're going to find out over the next few weeks really how good Colorado is. And I think if they're even in the game Saturday and it's a real close game, then I think it's unreal what Deion's doing. I don't know that I kind of feel like they might be a 3-0 team that we don't know how good they are yet, because I don't know how good TCU is. TCU may be a good team. I just haven't seen enough yet to say they're a really good team. So, and Nebraska, we know Nebraska and what they are. So right now it's hard for me to really just jump on that Colorado bandwagon right now. And just a little bit of that game the other night with Jay Norvell and him, both coaches need to get control of the program, control of their teams. Watching that, I was kind of feared that somebody's going to get injured, and Hunter did get injured, but it was just almost like at some point you got to get control of your team here and be the better coach. One side's got to kind of step up. It was kind of getting a little out of hand.
It was kind of like XFL on a Saturday. I mean, that's kind of, or WWE on a Saturday, but yeah. So there's some standout games from the weekend. And there's some other things this weekend. You mentioned some big games coming up. Obviously, in the Big 12, there's some big games on the horizon for Sooners. Sooners have the road test, first true road test this week in Cincy, a team that was an embarrassing loss at home last week to Miami of Ohio. So, yeah, OU needs to keep moving up in the polls, keep moving that direction, because they're going to have a couple tough opponents. But it's interesting what's going on in the college football world. And there's our college football recap. Until next time, guys. Boomer.
Boomer.